Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be about my 4 sources of income. Of course, this video is not financial advice. Neither are any of these sources of income flashy or fast ways to make money. The key to all of these are patience and consistency. I'll repeat that. The key to saving money using these 4 sources of income is definitely having patience and consistency. I will say though that over the course of the last several years doing these things, I have been able to save over $80,000. So income source number 1 is just my regular 9 to 5 style type of job, which for me is just being a manager at a restaurant. I think a lot of us forget when we see people online making money in all these different get rich quick types of ways that for most of us people, your main job is going to be your primary source of income. Okay, so number 2, are you ready for my second source of income? Well, it's also not very flashy, and it's actually just, guess what, my second job, which for me is I work part-time at a grocery store. I will say though, if you're wanting to get a second job, you really have to take the time to make sure that that second job fits into your life. I like to think of it almost like a puzzle piece. It has to fit really well with your life. Otherwise, you're going to have burnout. And like I said at the beginning of the video, patience and consistency are key. And you can't have neither of those things, patience or consistency, if you're just going to burn out right away. And burnout is a real thing. I work really hard to have balance in my life, but it is difficult. I work a little under 70 hours a week, give or take, and it can be challenging. So if you're wanting to get a second job, really make sure that your 2 jobs work together simultaneously and work well. And I would say the main word is balance. You have to have balance in your life. All right, so moving on. Income source number 3 is investing. I'm doing about the least flashy type of investing there is, which is just a CD account, which in some ways is similar to just like a basic high yield savings account. I want to look into, 401k, Roth IRA, index funds, things like that. But for right now, my savings are going to my CD account, which I feel like for most people could be benefiting at least from a high yield savings account rather than having your money just sit in a checking account doing nothing. It's really worth looking into somehow, some way, be making some type of interest from your money as safely and reliably as possible. Of course, there are other types of investing that are more risky, that might earn a little bit more, and I should say interest rates are going down. So for a while there, I was making like just over 5%, which in my opinion is really good for a CD account. The ones I'm in right now are a little bit lower than that, and from the looks of it, interest rates are going to continue to be going down. So it's just something you always have to be educated on, as well as you have to educate yourself and understand your own levels of risk when it comes to investing. But there's not a lot of risk in, a CD account or high yield savings account, which is nice. But do your own research. I highly encourage all of you, no matter what type of investing you do, to do your own research. Definitely do your own research. Okay, so income source number 4 is definitely the smallest source of income I have, and it honestly might not technically count as income, but it's money coming back to me, which is cash back from my credit cards. And before I even get into this one, I do not recommend that everybody just goes out and gets a credit card. That is something you really have to, again, educate yourself on. Me personally, I treat credit cards like debit cards. I've had a credit card for approaching a decade now, and I have never paid a single cent in interest, but I've gotten quite a bit of cash back from credit cards. So it's something to think about. If credit cards isn't something that you trust yourself to use, then definitely stay away from them. But credit cards are a whole topic in themselves, just like investing is. That could be a whole different video. If you want to learn more about credit cards, comment below. Okay, so my 4 sources of income, I started with the highest down to the smallest, which was credit cards being the smallest. And I just want to talk about how in this video is about multiple streams of income. Well, as small as that credit card one is, the way I think about it is we all have bills, right? And if you think about your checking account, if you think of like your bills as like red numbers, whether it's like your car insurance, rent, food and groceries, cell phone bill, if you think of all of those as red numbers, money you have to pay, and you start thinking of your income sources as green numbers, I try in my life to get as creative as possible as making more of those green numbers. So if anything, I want to motivate people. You don't have to do what I'm doing, but maybe take a look at your own life and think about how you can creatively and legally, of course, start making more green numbers coming into your account. So for me, it's my primary. I have all these green numbers. I have my primary job, my second job. I have a monthly deposit from my CD account. I have cash back from my credit cards. As small as some of those are, again, going back to patience and consistency, over time, they add up. And over time, I may find even more sources of income. So yeah, get creative about not just having a bunch of red numbers in your account, because we all have bills, but creating positive numbers coming into your account. You're not limited to just one. You're not necessarily limited to just your one primary job. And of course, today I'm talking about my sources of income. The other side of the coin, which is a video for another time, is how I reduce all of my spending. So if that's a video you're interested, comment down below as well. But yeah, that's definitely part of how I've saved a lot of money, is the amount of money I have is reducing my spending as well. That's a whole part of it as well. So of course, this video is about multiple streams of income. Before I end this video, the other takeaway I would want my audience to get from this video is notice that my first 2 sources of income, I kind of have to grind for. I'm working 70 hours a week. It's a lot of work. Now take a look at my other 2 sources of income, which in many ways could be described as passive income. And passive income is a big word in personal finance culture, of course. But as I talked about, creating more streams of income, I also want to talk about, having it in your mindset to eventually over time transition from, having to work into sources of income that are created passively. You can see how I'm slowly transitioning from actually working to creating passive sources of income, which who knows, maybe someday I can grow into other things like real estate, all sorts of other sources of passive income. But I just in this video want to kind of motivate people to kind of start thinking about, oh, maybe I'm not limited to my one source of income if I get a little bit creative. So anyway, if you guys made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I definitely want to hear from you guys. Do you guys have multiple sources of income? If so, what are they? How have you gotten creative in your life to make more money and save more money and ultimately just have a better life? So please comment down below. We all want to hear from you, and I want to hear from you. So thanks so much for watching. You guys all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.